Yeah, big talking Brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Big talking Brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Kicking back, having a few beers, we're chatting. Pull up your chair, we're all relaxing. Any subject, we never dismiss. Big talking Brewskis with Marissa Smith. Comedy, sex, relationships, more. Any subject, we got it in store. Big talking Brewskis is coming in live. Crack one open, Marissa has arrived. Big talking Brewskis with Marissa Smith. Yeah.
Hey guys, happy Friday. This is Big Talking Brewskis. I'm Marissa Smith. We are back. And as always, I've got Rodney Daniels with me.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
I've got Mercer Morrison with me.
Hello.
I've got Diego Dixon.
Hello, guys. Happy Friday.
New to the show, Sandeep Sen.
Yeah, I'm a little blown away. You have a rap that you wrote or someone performed about Big Talkin' Brewskis.
I did not write the rap. I gave him suggestive lines, and then he came up with the rap, and then I gave him music that I like the sound of, and then he
You
came
never
up with
heard
a
it
beat.
before? You've done this show before.
You know,
Because he never puts his headphones on.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
See, because you be raw dogging the podcast. See what
Yeah.
happens when you raw dog? You don't get all the information.
Yeah, but it feels better.
It feels better.
His
I
last
know,
name
I know.
isn't Sin for nothing.
Yeah.
You gave it to a rapper? You know a rapper?
No, I mean I got it from Fiverr actually.
Wait, you hired someone on
It's from
Fiverr to rap
TaskRabbit.
Yeah.
write a rap and perform a rap.
Yeah, there's
That's
also
incredible.
a music
Fiverr.
video for it. He did a music video for it.
This
Yeah, there
is
is a
so
music
good
video.
for
If you go to-
Fiverr.
Yeah.
You
You know,
Yeah.
Great
watch out
plug.
for the come up. Fiverr.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
If you look
Oh
at
my
Big Talking
God.
Brewskis on YouTube, you can watch the music video.
Yeah, there's a he made a
Yeah.
music video for
Yeah.
it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Damn.
incredible what you can get.
But yeah, like I mean, it took a long time. Like this definitely was not the first song. Like because like for you guys, like like I have like a certain aesthetic for things and for shows and like show names and stuff like logos. Like I have like a certain aesthetic for that kind of stuff. So
This
like
is very good, by the way.
Speaking
this
of,
one I did,
and I have a
but-
pug, and I love it. I just was sitting there looking at it for a second, and I was like, that couldn't be. Like, and I looked, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I
this
almost
was
want
a
to
Fiverr
bring
you-
her. I feel like she's like the mascot of
For
this.
Yeah.
a year, I want
Yeah.
a pug.
So you
in my
Photoshop this, or
arms.
this is a Fiverr thing too?
No, so like I bought the rights to the image so I could do digital things with the image, and then I did the the Big Talking Brewskis.
Okay.
I almost would like her to have like a little gold chain on too, right?
Yeah.
But like it was like it's got a beer and a microphone, and then the real thing for me, like if you guys know my Fashionably Funny logo, so like those are like the Elvis sunglasses with the microphone. So the dog has the same Elvis sunglasses as on the Fashionably Funny logo. So I feel like it's like one show is handing the baton to the next.
A match made in heaven.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like like
There
the
you go.
little weird marketing things like that I'm into.
I just want to see if my dog can actually hold a beer now. I wonder if that's like, you
Yeah.
know.
Quick answer, no.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got Emily Duncan.
Yeah, I'm also
Emily,
here.
you're
Oh,
Hi.
Hi.
we went through that
Tangent.
whole thing, and
We got into a
yeah.
tangent and we
Hi.
didn't say hi to
Happy
Emily.
Friday.
So now, Emily, you're from Canada, right?
That's accurate.
So, like, do you guys have an election coming up?
We do. They just called an election this week.
For what? Like Prime Minister?
Yeah, our federal election, you do like about a month from when they call it, which is when it's like they say like, okay, we're
They
gonna have
call
a
it-
federal election. It has to be about every 4 years, but it's sort of like
So you don't know when it's going to happen?
you don't know when it's going to happen until they call it. And so I actually don't know what date the federal election is, but it's sometime in the next month. I
Oh,
guess.
shit.
That
I should know this.
sounds
So is
stupid.
Trudeau in the running again or no?
Yes. So the way that ours works is our system works is you elect your local people, and then whoever has the most local people elected, that party wins, and then whoever the leader of the party is becomes the prime minister. So you don't actually vote directly for like a person. You vote for a party in your local area, and then just whoever gets it overall becomes. And then like if they don't get a certain amount of votes, they have like a minority government, and there's coalition governments and all these things that you can do.
And there's just a surprise election.
Yeah. Well, it's so.
So basically, if you're popular, you win,
Yeah.
right?
Is it?
Is it?
It kind of depends on a lot of things. I mean, people obviously think about the federal election when they're voting.
Right.
You know, it's like they know who they want to get in.
Like we did.
Yeah.
Technically.
And
we got
it
the
is
best
such an
people
effective
in-
system.
We got the
in
best
system.
one.
We've got the best
Okay.
people.
Huge. It's
Very
amazing.
I mean,
smart.
we knew who we wanted, but
Yeah.
that's not who we got.
No.
Yeah.
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 It was a really sad day for
Wait,
us
what's-
election.
Oh my
though.
God.
Yeah, I remember it was
so
horrible.
cloudy.
I
That
was
was
here.
like 9/11. Oh my God.
Dark and cloudy.
doing
Women
a
were
gig at the
Adults
creek in
were
the cave.
crying in
That
the
was my
street.
birthday. It was
Oh,
the worst
no.
birthday ever.
Oh, what a horrible
Yeah.
birthday present.
I just remember the next day I walked into work and like my boss, who I knew was a Trump supporter, he walked in like he just got laid. Like he was just like, "Who did
You have a boss who was a Trump supporter in New York?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they didn't
they
fillet
exist.
him. You
They
know?
No,
They
he
exist.
lived in Long Island. Go figure. And,
Yeah.
Like so.
What?
Yeah, I know. Surprise. No, he was like this is a guy who was like dour and stuff. He was whistling when he walked in.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
my God! It was such a cloudy. I remember women were crying.
People were crying at the bar. I'm like all
People-
happy, and I was like, people were like, "Why are you happy?" And I'm just
Like
like,
God forbid you had a
it's
smile on your
it's my
face.
birthday.
I knew he was winning.
Like-
I knew
my birthday.
Oh, my
worst
God.
birthday. Yeah, you need to
because I
change
thought
it.
Hillary
Change
was
your
gonna
birth
win. I
certificate.
can't. I mean, it happened on that day.
I started seeing it go very south shortly as the elections were going
Literally,
on.
it
The
went
more
south.
it went, the more drinks I had. So by the time they got to the election part, I was nice and toasted. I really didn't know who won. You know,
You were just like, bring on the
You know?
anarchy.
really, yeah,
Bring
no.
on the
somebody
purge.
was like, "Hey, you want to put on a red hat?" I'm like, "Hey, I'll take it," and I didn't realize what he was.
I did remember waking up the next day like, I hope that was just a bad dream.
You know,
Yeah, I
This
fell
is just my
asleep just
birthday.
like, this isn't real.
It's
Yeah,
not real.
and then
I was
sure
on the
as hell
toilet
enough.
and I Googled it and I was like, oh.
And that's when you drop your shit. You're like, oh my
I
God.
I remember the subway ride to work the next morning being the quietest I have ever heard New
God
York.
forbid
Oh,
you had
yeah.
a voice
I
that
came
day.
in from
You were.
Brooklyn, and
It
Yeah.
was like a
Yeah.
pin
Eerie.
could drop from Queens into Manhattan.
I
It
was
was
doing
the
it.
whole way.
Yeah.
I was doing a show at the Creek in the Cave, and we were doing an election show, and it was like on Periscope, and we were supposed to just be like, you know, like kind of like improving the like election results, and like, oh, this is gonna be a fun thing, and we can just like, you know, make fun of Trump while Hillary starts winning, and then like, I was kind of like, I was up as like the middle of the country went red,
Oof.
and I was just like, oh fuck, like
You
know,
got the
like,
check spot.
Yeah,
I feel like people
got the
remember
death
that
spot.
day the
Yeah.
way you remember when a national tragedy happens.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where were you when, like, 9/11 and
Yeah.
when Donald Trump got elected?
I almost equate it to like those sports clips
Same
where it's
tingly
like,
bad feeling.
like
Yeah.
the team is winning, and then like at the last moment, you just see that guy literally throw like a half court shot, and then they all look and they're like, "Oh
No.
fuck!"
Yeah.
And then it just swooshes
Yeah.
into the basket.
It's
Celebration
just like
quickly
that,
changed.
except
That's the
if
way I
that
felt.
then lasted for another 4 years.
Yeah, longest basket ever.
Yeah.
I
mean,
wish it was. I at least wanted. I had an election party and I had comics over, so it was fun. I at least wanted a good game, but that shit was over by like 8.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
you have-
wanted at
it
least
quickly-
to go
it-
to the end, but it was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Hillary
she's
won
winning.
like the first like 7 states or something like that, and then all of a sudden it was like boom, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trump.
it was
Yeah.
so
Red,
clear
red,
it was
changed
happening at a
quickly.
certain point.
Yeah.
We were in. My husband and I were like invited to a party in Union Square, and I was like, I don't want to. Even if Hillary wins, I don't feel like anyone should be proud of what happened. To the
No.
Yeah,
election.
there was
Like,
not really that much to choose
I don't
from.
want to
There
be
was
out.
no
So
candidate.
I like poured us
And
each
there
a
still
whiskey,
isn't.
and then I poured us each a bigger whiskey.
Yeah.
And then you lit a candle, and then you
fell
sang
asleep.
kumbaya.
then you just
Slowly
started singing Ave
weeping.
Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Democratic debate happened
You
yesterday.
know, well,
That
Democratic
was-
parties have the best food because I went to a
really?
Republican friend's house for food. And
Oh
it
my
was really
God.
not that much
Just
to
no
choose
salt and
from.
pepper or
You
anything,
know,
right?
everything's
Really?
vegan or a vegetable. Yeah.
What
But
at a
Dominic-
Republican?
No, at
I'm-
a Democratic party. they have
I'm
some
going
good
Republican.
wings, bro.
Veal
I'm
and
going
honey
Republican.
beef.
They'll still
I
have
would
some
assume
good
it was
cooking.
Wagyu beef meatballs, you know. So.
Yeah.
I actually was doing at the time of the 2016 election. I did a solo show. This is so dumb. I did a solo show as Ted Cruz about Ted Cruz's like run for president from the perspective of Ted Cruz, where I played Ted Cruz. And I had written the Hillary version. It was supposed to go up a week after the federal election, and I didn't realize that when I pitched it, but it was. And so I'd written the Hillary version pretty thoroughly and not at all the Trump version, and spent that entire week after the election just like, well, I have a musical to rewrite entirely. And it was horrible, but also fun. So that's what I did. I don't know why I'm telling you this. It was fun. I don't know.
Well, I want to know what stops the party in power in Canada from just not holding a re-election if this is like a whole voluntary thing.
We're just nice.
Yeah, I was about to say. You're just very polite.
It would never
extremely.
occur to us not to obey the rules.
Well, I just found out that
No,
like
that's not true. We're like
that-
a good country. We do our
England
best.
doesn't have a constitution. Like they don't have a written constitution, which is part of the reason why they're having all of this problems with like Boris Johnson, because like they don't have a constitution to tell him that like you can't do that. That's against the Constitution. It's just like, well, that's against our gentlemanly agreement that we would never do such things. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like we
And
just
Canada's
landed on
kinda
the
halfway
rock or
between the
pilgrims
two.
or
Yeah.
something. Like I was like, where are all the laws at that we enforced for the last 45 years? It's
He's
like
getting in
out
trouble.
the window.
Oh my god! And then like the whole thing with the weather.
oh,
Like, that-
with Sharpie.
Oh, when he
Yeah.
put the
The
fake
weather.
diagram.
The stupid
Yeah.
Sharpie.
Oh,
It's
shit,
not just
right?
that, but
He
it's
drew
like
the head of a dick over like
he
what looked like a
did,
dick.
but that's not
It's
the
like,
thing.
here's
In
the
Sharpie.
penis, and here's my
Kinda
little
hot,
mushroom
really.
head.
Literally
Not him,
in,
but
in
the
Sharpie.
storm.
the whole thing what bothers me is that he literally almost caused like a crisis down there because it was not predicted to go to Alabama, and like what happened is that like, oh yeah, it's going to go to Alabama, so a lot of residents from Alabama started calling like the National Weather
If
Service.
you're in Alabama, you're like, is it
doing?
or is
Is
it
it?
not
And then the
coming?
Weather Service was like, no. And then Trump like doubled down and was like, yes. And then NOAA, like, there was someone who like from
hate
Trump's
everything about
administration
those.
who like threatened people from NOAA. That's like, I'm gonna fire you if you don't put out a tweet saying that the president was right, which is essentially what the NOAA tweet was all about. It was like, oh yes, the president was right, even though no matter where it went.
They did say that. They did say that he was right. And
Yeah.
he said he got that information the day before. When you have
Literal-
money, you can cover up anything.
Oh, yeah, and then a few days
we're
later-
still buying these stories.
A few days later, it turned out
But
that
has it hit
someone.
Alabama though?
Who you kidding?
Did it hit Alabama?
No.
We live in New York.
Right, it
We
got
know what's
like,
up.
It got like a, and that's it.
You
like
know.
that's, but yeah, like the National
Right.
Weather Service had to be like, no,
But
don't
it's okay.
panic.
Alabama's the main ones that voted for him. Let them run around thinking it's a hurricane.
But did you
coming.
see the way he explained
Where's
the
your
diagram?
God now, bitches?
Well, wait.
No, because
Bye.
I'm from Florida. We've been through so many hurricanes that could have potentially been a awful situation with like people running to the gas stations, running to shops, like trampling over each other to try. And that's what the National Weather Service was trying to do. They were trying to be like, no, it's not. So like, let's not, line up for days on end to
At the
gas
grocery
station
store.
lines.
I
at
just
the
feel
grocery
like
store.
you just need
Flashlights.
to tell them you're getting the hurricane because God's mad at you that
Mm.
you voted for Mini Hitler. Like
There you
that's-
go.
Well, they did get what's the
Hitler.
representative's name that it was
Like,
the
you get in a
pedophile and
hurricane,
the
what
other
you wanna
dude.
do?
What was
Yeah.
his name?
Like,
Who,
you know?
who's the guy?
Repent.
You gonna move? or
No,
you
but
gonna-
who's the representative now? It's like it was
For
like
who?
but the Alabama. It's like the pedo ran, but
Oh.
then the other guy got elected. Who's that?
Non-pedo.
Yeah, the non-pedo guy who like people.
They
Why did
honestly both look the
I
same.
thought the pedo guy got elected. I
Everybody
forgot.
looks the same in
No.
the
Who is the
election.
pedo guy? Like it was like national.
They're all
Roy-
pedo
Roy
guys.
Moore, yeah,
That's the
Roy
pedo
Moore was the
guy.
pedo guy, and then the
And
other
it's
guy. got
not
elected.
Alabama,
pedo
they're
guy.
all pedo guys.
Yeah, too many pedo guys,
There's too many pedo
especially with the
guys.
Epstein thing. Yeah.
So now, Cindy, what's going on with Aaron Carter?
I don't know what's going on with Aaron Carter, but he recently was on like some show called The
Doctors.
Doctors.
The
Yeah,
doctors.
the doctors.
oh.
I googled this.
How vague of a name?
I know what he's saying is going on with
The
Aaron
Doctors.
Carter.
The Doctor Show.
That's what's going
show
on in the rest
called
of
The
America.
Doctors.
Is
Yeah.
shows
Yeah,
like
but
and
it's
not
like-
You've never
necessarily
seen
the
it?
You talking about the
Doctor.
singer Aaron Carter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which
What's
also,
going on?
So okay, I know Wikipedia Aaron Carter, but I don't know if I'm getting the full flavor. So apparently this dude is like some white
He used
rapper
to
who was
be-
9 and
He
got
was
famous.
like
'cause he's
he was
rapping.
like
was-
Justin
wasn't he in
Bieber
the
before
Backstreet
Justin.
Boys?
Yeah, he was like in the Backstreet,
His-
some
Let-
in sync or
Backstreet
something.
I lived through this.
Okay,
I
wait,
lived
no.
through this.
Nick Carter was in the
So-
Backstreet
Nick
Boys.
Carter's
Yeah,
in the
Nick
Backstreet
Carter.
Boys.
Aaron Carter
Is
is
his
his
brother,
younger
brother. Yeah.
Oh.
And
He had a
that's how he got
solo. Yeah,
famous.
Lou
So he's the
Pearlman.
Marky Mark of the Carters.
No, but Marky Mark actually
Well,
got
Marky
famous
Mark was-
and stayed off drugs.
Right.
Like for a
None
little
of the
bit, at
Carter
least.
family was able to do that.
No.
And it was
Yeah.
bad, and we're
But
sorry for
but the
them.
thing is that like at least
I didn't realize Leslie Carter died also.
Who's
Leslie
Is
Carter?
that like-
His sister
Leslie
who died of
Carter.
an overdose.
that is
One-
Jimmy Carter's wife? No, but go on.
she was their sister, and she had a song on the Shrek soundtrack called Like Wow, and I did own that CD, so I did know that song, and I did feel sad when I found that out when I was Googling
What-
this
how
earlier.
how did she die?
Well, drug overdose.
Well, she's a Carter. What were we expecting?
You know.
Yeah.
I
Brittany
was,
Murphy.
Although, actually, the drugs that she had in her system were like Xanax
Better.
and
But
muscle
aren't they
relaxant
all-
and
that sounds like Brittany
anti-schizophrenic,
Murphy.
which is like, Brittany
typical.
Murphy, didn't she die of the
That's what they
pneumonia
said.
from the mold that her,
Yeah,
her fiance then also died of?
It was
So they said.
Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was one of those.
I thought he
like,
died of,
Yeah.
like overdosing
Yeah.
on sleeping
Amy
it
pills.
was,
Winehouse.
like, sleeping pills and like
Yeah,
allergy
in one of the
medicine.
Olsen twins' apartments, allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they said he got lost in his character too when he was filming that movie.
Lost
They,
in
they-
his
they
character.
said
Well,
he got
that's
so lost
bullshit,
in
though. People don't get lost in a character.
Tell
He's
that
a
to Tony
professional
Soprano.
actor.
Yeah.
Nice way of saying
Daniel
he was doing
Day-
drugs
yeah.
every night.
Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't like, I'm still stuck in 1865 because I'm
But
still
I can't
Lincoln.
stop drinking other
Yeah.
people's milkshakes.
Yeah.
But if you ever studied method acting,
I'm a Native
though,
American.
that's a-
Last
I
Mohican.
did. I
I
studied
think-
method acting for
But
2
isn't
years.
it a thing you get
and
lost in your character? though,
No,
I
the
thought?
idea of it is that you're supposed to bring your own experiences to a character, which is actually a very basic idea of acting. Is just like if you need to cry, think about your puppy that
Yeah,
died
think about a family.
when you
Yeah.
were a kid. That's what method acting is. That's all
I
method
thought
acting
method
is.
acting was like putting yourself in like
No, that's
literally
what people,
doing the
that is
thing.
misconception. But Lee Strasberg, which I did go to the Strasberg Institute for 2 years, and I did not think I'd be talking about this today. But method acting actually has nothing to do with going and living in a trash can in order to
character.
To be Oscar the Grouch.
in order to be Oscar the Grouch. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes.
It's
I
just
am
about like
Oscar.
if I'm Oscar the Grouch, I imagine what it would be like to be in a trash can, and if I need to like feel sad as Oscar the Grouch or feel excited, I can use my own personal
Yeah.
experiences.
You gotta
which
use your own.
Yeah.
trash
a lot
can
of acting
moments.
teachers before that never actually said you could do. Like it was like you have to use your imagination, and Lee Strasberg was like, "And what if you used your personal experience?" And then everyone was like, "It's crazy. He wants you to live in a
Well,
trash can."
Yeah, like in any acting.
Well, can you
experience,
imagine
yeah.
living as the Joker in that experience? Like, what would that be like?
calling
Oh
in
my
like terrorist
goodness.
threats constantly?
You know?
Well, and that's
City
what Jared
Hall.
Leto
And we
did.
live in
and
New
Jared
York.
Leto is not a method actor.
No, Jared Leto sucked. He was
Oh
like the
my
worst
goodness.
Joker.
So that's the wrong way to do it, and the right way to do it is just to draw on your own
And
emotional.
plus, he was in the
experience.
movie for like 5 minutes. Like,
What was the
you
movie?
can't-
Marathon Man?
Yeah, I know the
Yeah.
story. What you're about to talk
Yeah.
with Dustin Hoffman and
With
Laurence
Dustin
Olivier.
Hoffman, right? Where he actually
And Laurence Olivier's like, "Have you tried acting?"
Have
Right.
you tried acting, my boy? And then he
Acting.
did the Neil Diamond movie
that
where he
kinda,
did like
like,
an awful
changed.
impression of a Jewish person. I don't know if anyone saw the Jazz Singer remake in like 1980 with Neil. He literally acted like a Jewish caricature. Laurence Olivier did. And it
Well,
was
yeah,
awful.
Laurence Olivier was a dick, and I mean,
Yeah.
he was good at Shakespearean acting, but that doesn't mean he knows everything about how to
No, he doesn't. He was
Alright.
like, "Oi, they," and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of really awkward."
So like I'm gonna get us back on the tracks for a second.
Sure.
we got to get this
I don't
Aaron
know
Carter
where.
story.
What was
off.
the
Yeah.
question?
Back to
So
Aaron
went to
Carter
a different
Aaron
time
Carter,
zone.
I know. So like that Aaron Carter
with his neck tattoo.
is claiming that he has multiple personality disorder. He
Schizophrenia and acute anxiety. He goes on the doctor show and he starts talking about how he has multiple percent acute anxiety and schizophrenia. He has none of those things. And then he like holds up this bag of medicines that he's not taking that he reveals later. And then it says, "I'm on all these medicines for all my mental illness." By the way, one of them was for heartburn. One of them that he listed off for his
Pepsid
mental
AC.
illness. It was omeprazole, which is Prilosec.
I was about to say, yeah, I'm very familiar
Yeah,
with
melatonin.
heartburns and-
Yeah.
And he was like, "I have all this shit going on."
Help me go to sleep.
It makes me go
Melatonin.
crazy. Melatonin. I got valerian root.
Then later, he's like, "I'm not on any drugs." And then they do a drug test, and they find opiates, benzodiazepines like Xanax, and marijuana.
I mean,
So
And
up
it's
or
like,
Xanax,
oh,
down.
Benzodiazepine, whatever.
Xanax.
Xanax.
Well,
so that's like a Coke, Xanax, and then marijuana, right?
Opiates like hydrocodone.
He's just like a whole weekend in Ibiza wrapped into one.
But what's
That's
a
all he is.
Xanax?
Pill and
Like,
a visa.
what is like a street Xanax?
Xanny.
Like what is a Xanax? Like
A
what is
Xanax.
it? Like
That's like
it's
a-
not Coke. It's not like what is it?
It's a stimulant, right?
No,
No, it
it's
melts. Doesn't it melt
Yes,
you?
it's a train.
Yeah,
It's like a
Yeah.
tranquilizer.
like an anti-anxiety kinda.
Yeah,
so like what is it?
anxiety.
Like a Quaalude?
I wouldn't say it. Not a
Well,
Quaalude.
it's like more
Vicks
like,
NyQuil.
It's more like
A lot of
it's literally
unmedicated
like
people
a
here, it
pill.
seems.
That would
It's
suck
like
if it was a
beer.
Vicks NyQuil.
Vicks
All my friends would be
NyQuil.
walking
it's
around like,
definitely stronger than that.
Vicks NyQuil.
So why don't I just have a beer then? I don't know.
that pups you up.
Well, it seems
Well,
like that he
no,
went
there's
up
like a
and
Xanny
then
and
came
knock me
down, then
Okay.
more so up and then needed to come down.
I mean, I think the
So-
the
Xanax is
upshot
making-
of all of this is that the Carter family is very troubled, and then whatever is there is certainly something like troubled in his mental health. I would think.
well,
Yeah.
Whatever it
I
is,
wonder at which
you
part
know.
you became schizophrenic, on the way up or on the way down.
I think it was in between Millennium and it was no kid.
So
Well, I just want multiple personalities isn't a thing, and it doesn't exist. So
It doesn't exist.
it does not. It's not a thing.
Listen, I
So-
think he may have multiple personalities, but he doesn't have multiple Grammys.
Hey, I
So
saw
now, like,
Split. So
Why? Yeah. So why do you believe that multiple personalities doesn't exist? Because
I-
we've all seen Sybil.
Right.
Yes.
And that later was debunked, and it was like one of these fad diagnoses that.
What-
and, then,
what is-
and we all
I
saw.
think it does exist. I don't know
We
why.
all saw Ed Norton, and it was great.
Well, what
It was
about,
a
like,
great movie? But people aren't
bipolar?
suddenly
Yeah.
like, "Oh God, Marissa, you're looking little. Your eyes are getting a little shady." You're like, "I'm not Marissa. I'm Joan, and I don't know who this Marissa is." No, that never fucking happens.
I'm
and
Terrence.
It's not a thing.
I'm Terrence. I identify
I'm
as
Joan. This is
Terrence.
my. This is why to become when I got molested. I don't even know. It's not. It's not a.
So
thing.
what do you like?
So,
You said, what do you think of
what is
bipolar?
it? Like what is
Yeah.
like the
Bipolar
what
is-
the actual
A high and a low.
what people
It's a
thought
high and a
that
low, but it's
multiple
different.
personality
We're having like two different
was.
conversations.
Yeah, like what people thought multiple personality was. Like, what do you believe is the actual like diagnosis or cause of that?
I mean, Sybil, it was just people lying.
No, but I mean, in
With the Ed Norton, Richard Gere movie, it was some screenwriter. You know?
Are
But
we
in, like,
talking about
real
Primal
life-
Fear or Fight
Or, like,
Club?
multiple
I'm
personality
no,
really
we're talking
wondering.
about just multiple
I was talking about
personality
Primal
disorder.
Fear.
You're saying
Okay.
it's been debunked. So, like, what is the actual like mental disorder that is the real multiple personality?
Are you talking about a condition where someone insists that they're not, they're Steve, and then suddenly they become John, and they have a whole different set of realities?
Yeah,
That's
I
not.
suppose.
It just doesn't happen. It's not a thing.
So you're
I don't
saying
know.
like the whole Jekyll and
add-
Hyde thing is not.
But no, Jekyll and
possible?
Hyde is a
Jekyll and Hyde
different-
was a metaphor, you know, like it was like a literary thing, but it's not. It's not. These aren't literal.
No, he's talking about specific multiple.
Like you can't turn
multiple
into someone else and not
personality.
remember.
Right.
I
So,
believe
like-
that
Maybe if
people
you
Like the
black out
movie
when you're drunk.
Split.
So
Yeah.
now
All
are-
right,
Let's
Split,
talk
right?
about Split.
Or like
Plenty.
multiple
Let's talk about
personality.
Split, even though it's a movie. Let's
Doubt.
talk about Split.
So like multiple personalities, is that like kind of like ego states?
I'm just saying that the thing that you're talking about isn't a thing that's happened to people. I mean, they're not being truthful to you. They're
So like,
in
is
their-
the
or maybe
patient
they're
lying,
on like
or is the therapist like uneducated? Like,
Right, because people have been diagnosed.
Yeah.
So
right. There
what
was a
would-
fad of like around the time that Sybil came out.
right. So
then-
you're saying that those accusations are based on the doctor's accusations are based on what? You say those are not true when they diagnose them as multiple personalities?
Right. It's not really a condition that happens.
So what do you think it really is then?
I don't. Those people aren't in front of me right now. But
Right.
I mean, they're not. They didn't completely lose the idea that they were.
Ooh, I want
They're
to
who they
take
were
my
born
phone off
as, and
airplane
then-
mode and
I
Google
know
this so bad.
because like even like because I feel like they're calling it something different now.
Well, let's
and
talk
it's
about.
like,
We have someone in front of us, which is Aaron Carter.
yeah.
You don't even
So
know
he's
his
the guy
name.
who's like
You're not a true fan.
And what wound up being is that he's taking all these like he says he's clean, and then it turns out he dropped all this stuff, and he has a huge substance abuse problem.
He does. Yeah.
Then
Yes,
he talked about
yeah.
how he was huffing, and he went to rehab, and then he left rehab, and then he had to go all the way back because he wasn't really done with it. And then he still says, "Yeah, I use pot all the time, but I don't consider that a drug of addiction." It's like, dude, then you didn't learn anything in fucking rehab, and like you want to call something multiple personality, but you have a substance abuse problem, and you need to learn about your disease. And I think people who have mental illness, it's a very personal thing, and it's a very private thing. But if you're going to be a celebrity and talk about how you overcame something,
I mean, he did
and
become
then
a
put out
celebrity
all
when
this
he was
bullshit.
11, so it's
Yeah, I
like-
feel like that would mess anyone
He,
up.
he is. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's right. And there's a lot of empathy that should be had for any child star because that is a problem. But if you're gonna then talk about your mental illness, and in front of your fans who are listening to you, and then put out all this bullshit that is not true, that's where I have a problem with it.
Well, I don't know that he's in a. I mean, I don't know him. I didn't see the interview.
I grew up with him. No.
But I mean, if you're in a state where you're telling people all these things and you're holding up that bag of drugs, and I read about what else happened in that episode, which is that he tried to talk to his mom about her alcoholism, and apparently she wakes up at 5 a.m. and drinks a bottle of vodka every morning, and
Hey, I do the
You know-
same. No.
but it.
Who
I mean, it's
doesn't?
right.
Yeah.
That's normal, right?
It's like a Folgers commercial. Every day I wake up.
No,
go
but
ahead.
I do agree with you. Taking
But
drug use does cause.
This is not
Yeah.
a reliable
Yeah.
narrator, I guess,
It's
is
not.
what I'm trying to say. Is like, yeah, of course he maybe doesn't have exactly what he says, but he's certainly got something going on. And these shows are exploitative and maybe just shouldn't exist.
I think he's
But-
just been living Aaron's party too long. That's what
Oh,
I'm
I saw
trying
the
to
video
say.
as research for this.
People all around, you got to come get. All the girls loved him, and then whenever he got arrested,
was one of
for
those
drug-
girls.
Listen, whenever he got arrested for drugs, I so wanted to like message every girl that I try to ask out in middle school to be like, "Look where I am and look where he is," and like send them the mugshot.
And they're like, the same?
ah, damn it! I've been like, Stacy, why? You know?
Yes.
So now,
Show me your
Cindy,
bank account.
Yeah. His is
Now-
probably not much better. No.
What are like okay? So it used to be called multiple personalities. Now it's dissociative identity disorder.
Ooh.
What is the
It's almost an
difference?
alliteration.
Well, that's a state where you don't feel like yourself. But you don't
I
think
don't
that,
feel like myself like after I eat ice cream.
right. It's a little more vague.
Lactose
But
intolerant.
it's not
I feel bloated.
It's more like
it's not like, oh, you're Marissa.
I
and
feel
then-
like a truck driver after I eat ice cream.
Hey, I identify as a truck driver.
But then it's not. That's not something where like you literally think you're a different person and you have a different name and you have different
what, like-
experiences and a different
So what
personality.
is
and-
Thanks so much for
Dissociative.
having me. I'm Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. See, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I feel you, Sandeep. I'm on your side. I feel like it's not a real thing. It's all been like.
But like,
you
what's
know,
the difference
and
well,
between
but this
that?
is my
movies,
opinion. Like,
like-
this is psychiatry understands that multiple personality
Are
disorder.
you a
isn't-
psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Also for all of us who
Oh
are.
yes.
We
yes.
all have day jobs.
Yeah.
Well, while
But,
you're
like,
here,
what's the difference
Yeah.
between dissociative disorder and like ego states?
No, I think that's what you're talking about when you're talking about ego states.
Ego states is a dissociative disorder.
Well, what do you mean by ego states?
Ego states is like, well, from my therapist, like just kind of like ego states are just kind of like the faces that everyone has to like get along the day. So like if you're with your parents, you're the child. If you're at work and you're the boss, you're the boss. Or if you're like, you know, if we're a comic, we're the comic, and if you're producing, you're producing. But that you're different aspects of your personality in different parts of your life.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I think that's that's like how we all are. The ego states. The dissociative identity, I think, is there's a certain lack of control, and I think that's and then people don't feel like themselves, and it's kind of a wishy-washy thing.
I've heard of
So,
people
So like
saying-
if you're just like blackout drunk, you're like have a dissociative disorder at that moment.
Right, but the cause is because you're blackout drunk. That's
Okay.
not
That
dissociative identity
explains
disorder.
But right, but it's not like that blackout drunk person has
Yeah.
like a completely different name and.
doesn't even know.
I
Like,
that
would
would
say
be
like when I
very
was
cool.
in college, I used to like drink a lot, and like I had drunk friends that I didn't know sober. So like I like
That's a
literally
problem.
yeah, like I literally would like go to like other colleges or whatever, and I would have like a whole group of friends that would like call me and shit, and I'm like, who the fuck is this?
Wow.
And then,
but once
like-
you drink, you
Ba- ba- ba-
remember.
And then I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh
that
yeah,
happened.
like and like I had like an entire group of friends at other schools that I did not
party
know.
friends. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that. Once you get in that world and that your mind is in that, yeah. you
And then
totally
like
got it.
you're just like, oh, and like when you're back in the zone, and it's just like, oh yeah, I've been like blackout drunk for like 2 days. Like, why am I Vermont right now?
You know,
like,
Vermont.
Or they text you like, who is this? You know,
And then
my
you're just
God.
like, oh hey girl. It's just like, I mean, I had boyfriends. Like I
Damn,
like,
had a whole
Marissa.
sit
Wow.
married while you were drinking.
It's like, yeah.
Did not know
it's
that.
amazing how that
Yeah.
happens.
I also got kicked out of AA.
So what do
but,
you
like,
think about alter
Wow,
ego?
wow, that's impressive that
Yeah.
you got kicked out of AA. Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you think about a
It's very
person having an
exclusive
alter ego?
club.
An alter ego. Do you think that that's like just something that they fame up on
Or a
themselves?
stage name. No,
Yes,
kidding. Yeah,
right.
like an alter
Well,
ego.
what do you mean by alter ego?
Well, I
Is
ran into
Mercer
some people,
really your name,
especially in
Morrison?
the-
Actually,
in
it
the-
is my real name, but people always questioned it. They were like, "That's not your real name." I was like, "No, it's my God-given name." My parents just like love alliterations. But no, but yeah, do you
alter
think-
ego. Like I've
Yeah,
ran
alter
into some
ego.
people, and I'll say myself in general, when they take a stage or they take a certain situation, they believe that they are something else. What do you believe that that's a version of split personality?
What
or-
you're saying when they get on stage? they
Not even
believe-
stage, just like in a scenario. Like I like to call myself a Diego Dixon sometimes, and sometimes I'm just Angelo. But I believe when I am saying Diego that that's who I am, even though my characteristics or my demeanors might be different. You don't feel like I've always wondered about that.
Well, I don't think you really believe you're Diego Dixon when you are
I
Diego
do.
Dixon. You're like, oh, I'm playing a character. I'm really like getting into it.
No. I think I believe that I'm Diego Dixon because everybody calls me Diego Dixon, even though outside of that, I'm some. I feel like that I'm living my full self when I'm Diego Dixon, rather as if you just call me Angelo Diego and I'm just at work, I'm whatever. So I feel like I always thought, was it a split personality or is it just like I'm not using my full ability? I don't know.
You're aware of the name on your birth certificate when you are Diego Dixon. Is that
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's just you.
You think so?
Were you
Oh, you
are.
Diego
Well,
when
you're
you were
saying you
getting the
are.
hand tats?
No, I was actually Angelo Diego
You're right,
when I got
Angelo.
them. You know, and then when I got the hand tats and I came back to it and I was Diego Dixon, I was like, what is this?
Did that hurt? Did that hurt?
But what about
Got
when you're
so
on
many
stage?
feelings in
Because
there.
when you're
Yeah.
on stage, that is a different personality. And I'm a huge Beyonce fan. She has Beyonce. She's Beyonce outside of
Oh, don't say Sasha Fierce.
And then she's Sasha Fierce when she's on stage.
I think these are like actors playing roles. Like everyone
Yeah.
can transform themselves into something else, but they.
No,
they're
I
not,
think
like,
she
they're not
believes
out
that
of
she was
reality.
Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, no, she's definitely.
No,
Well, I
she's
mean, there
definitely
has to be
Sasha
like
Fierce.
an alter ego.
You
Like I
channel-
always
you
just.
channel somebody different.
Well, I just think that
Channeling
whatever
somebody.
version that you are on stage is like a perfected version of yourself.
Of
I don't think
yourself,
it's like an
right.
entirely different
Right,
version.
you're still
some
aware
people
of
are
who
different.
you are.
Yeah, you have some semblance of who you are.
Carrot Top knows that his real name is something other than Carrot Top, although I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it is.
It's actually Carrot Toppenstein. It's,
Yes. By the way, you can catch him at the Luxor Hotel, Las Vegas. He was really, really funny.
I'm sure. Yeah, I would
He
love.
just
I
named himself after his pubes.
oh,
And look what that got him.
Yeah,
Oh
seriously.
my goodness.
He got a residency at Las Vegas.
I know the things you can do
I
with the
thought-
power of the mind.
Oh, I used to be a big hater, and then like once I started doing comedy, and like the further I got along, I respected it. Same with Jeff Dunham. I was like, I respect it. I respect the hustle of practically anyone doing comedy and that has made it. You
Yeah,
know.
if you tap into whatever that thing is, great.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Like, good for you.
definitely. Yeah, and especially like every single person I met that like knew Kevin Hart were like, that guy's like a complete workaholic. Like that's
Yeah.
all they would say. Like they would say he was a workaholic, and then just say like how funny he was. Like,
Yeah.
I should say.
Did you hear about Eddie Murphy doing his comic thing for Netflix? They're paying him so much money.
I
Is
don't.
We were
Is
talking
that
about that.
official?
But people are saying that they don't know it's going to do as well because he hasn't done comedy since I think the
I would
80s,
watch
don't
that
want
right?
him
shit,
to do it.
actually.
I don't want him to do it because it's like Steve Martin. I read his
like 40
biography.
million.
He got it right. He was like, I was funny, and then when I kind of started falling off, that's when I jumped to like movies and TV.
Right.
And I feel like the same should be said for Eddie Murphy. Leave it in the past where it was great,
You think
and
so?
then pursue it. Because I'm so afraid because he's been in Hollywood and been in that
well,
A-list
but-
lifestyle
And
for
he's
so
talked about-
long.
Yeah,
but
but he
you
can
know-
avoid the best writers.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like, is it his voice though? Like I'm always.
Or is it his?
Is it
is
any
it-
of
is
their
it
voices
his-
at
Yeah.
this point?
Oh,
Like once you get to that
true.
point, it's none of their
Okay,
voices.
So do you think
One,
in, like,
I would watch it no
Delirious
matter what.
or
Two, comedians
Raw?
and cars getting coffee. Is that what you're going to say?
That's exactly what I was going to
Yes!
talk about. Comedians and cars getting coffee.
Because I think he's very
If you've seen
self-aware
that-
about the situation.
If you've seen that
Yeah.
episode,
I need to watch it.
It had
I need to
him
watch
in
You
it.
got-
Eddie Murphy was in it.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Comedian
And
Cars and Coffee
it's
with
like,
Jerry Seinfeld.
after watching
and
that
he talked
episode, I
about
was
that.
like, I would like to watch an Eddie
Yeah.
Oh,
Murphy
you would
special
say, okay.
because he
talked
knows
about that
exactly that problem.
specifically.
Okay, I
You know,
need to
like-
watch it. I
And
need to
he
watch
I
it.
need to
talked
watch it
about
too.
his last special. That's why it was his last special because he felt like
He was
I've
like-
done it. Or like, this
Yeah,
is
no,
it.
like him
And
and
that was
Steve
Where
Martin.
else is there to go
Yeah.
in comedy besides?
Well,
Him-
$75
yeah.
million dollars is the way he's going now because that was like what they came to the table.
But like
with
that's
him.
that's the thing that comedians should do because I feel like a lot of comedians they do
Bullshit,
that.
$75 million. I'd fuck Mike Pence.
Yes.
I mean,
I wouldn't
well,
like it,
you
but
would
I
have
would
to
Maybe
do it.
even Donald Trump.
Well,
you might have
for-
to
I
give
don't
me
know about
I mean,
that.
$750.
Marissa Mother would have to be in the room.
You
though.
know?
Mother would
That's
have to
fine.
be in the
I'll
room.
be
All
Mother's
deals are
cuckold.
raw.
Whoever Mother is.
Right.
It's so weird. He
You
says
know?
that's his wife, right? Mother.
Yeah,
That's
Mother is his wife.
Ugh, that's weird.
Does he even have children? I don't even
He-
know.
I think he does.
Surely
Mike
he
Pence?
must.
Yeah.
Unless he just likes calling him. Mama.
What do they look like?
Otherwise, that is way kinkier.
I'm guessing just like a Land's End catalog, like
You know.
Blandsome models.
You
Yeah.
know?
Blandsome.
I love that term, blandsome. It's like you're like good looking, but you would just blend
But
in with the
bland-
crowd.
unrecognizable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unrecognizable.
You
Yeah,
just
there's
blend
no
in.
definitive features.
There's a
about
guy
you.
who went to my high school who's now famous in Canada and like was in a Land's End. I mean, like
Really?
famous in Canada in that way, where they're like he's been in magazines,
Yeah.
Blandsome.
catalogs, and
National
stuff.
Enquirer. No. No.
So now, Emily, what's
me.
going on with feminine hygiene products?
Okay, wait. I've been thinking
In
about
Canada
this.
specifically.
No,
but-
no. I only want to talk about
in
American
general.
ones. Okay, here's the thing I've been thinking about. I
Oh.
buy these products. They make new products. They always come in the same kind of packaging, which is with flowers. And the thing is, I don't hate flowers. I like flowers.
The flowers
but
are great.
if anyone made them with literally any other packaging, I would buy that packaging for a little while. Like put a Pikachu on there. I don't care. Just like anything other than flowers and like a floral scent would be really nice.
Well, I think it's the whole like the vagina's always been described as like her flower or the flower and that,
I
and so I think
know.
that's where it
Yeah.
comes
But that's
from.
like men
Baby's
in
breath.
marketing.
But it's so it's like
like hot dog. No.
like I would love to have like dynamite on there or something. Like put
Dynamite.
some, like anything.
That would
Put-
make me a little suspect.
Suspect, because you know
Yeah.
I've always.
You never have to see it. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
So
No
But
one
he-
has to see it except
Pussy about to
the people that
explode,
are
or
about
what's
to
going
put it
on?
on
Their
their
body.
underwear
I
or
love it,
in
'Cause
their
there's
body.
a string
Yeah.
attached.
Like-
I love the dynamite.
Oh, that
It
is
was
a
funny,
good.
right?
It
That
would
is
be
a
funny.
good. Yeah.
Cute.
And make the cotton all red.
Like put
Yeah, but what would be the
No.
scent profile on that?
Wait, wouldn't it have to?
Yeah.
It would have to say white. so
What
you
smells
could,
like nitroglycerin?
Yes.
Make sure things are happening right.
my
right?
products actually
It
have
just
polka
becomes more
dots.
dynamite-y as,
Yeah?
as a heavy flow day.
yeah, so I'm an all
Exploded
wears
hot dog.
girl, and so like it has polka dots. So like I don't have the flat, but I understand because like I won't buy women's razors, like because it's like all the women's razors are always pink, and it's like lavender scented, and it's always like $4 more
and it's like
than
I
the
don't
guys'
need any
razors.
of
Yeah,
this.
it's
Yeah,
the
I
do
whole
you
just
remember the
want
tax
controversy
thing,
when
yeah.
their women got pissed off because their razors were more expensive? Like, then buy the fucking men's razors.
Yeah, just
it's like right
go.
next
Yeah,
door.
but like they should be the same.
Yeah.
It's like the
No,
same as
buy-
dry
bargain
cleaning.
hunt like an Indian. God damn it! You got to bargain hunt. You got to find the best deal.
You got to bargain hunt like a human.
Here's
It's
what
not.
I'll
It's not
say.
just specifically
I
Indians.
do buy the
Indians
men's
would
ones,
know
but
buy
it's still
Indians are next
bullshit.
level.
That like
Yeah.
they're
That I
trying
have
to do
to,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
damn
like
it.
why do I have to go into like the men's aisle and then like
And like I'll do.
But
It's
then
right
again,
there.
no men
It's
would
like
look
next-
at you.
it's
I've
like
seen
that.
like a few
No,
women
like,
look
guys-
around. I'm not like, whoa.
but like I feel like the guys like it's like now that's a wife there. She buys her man
I
a
gotta
razor.
wife her.
Like-
Will you watch the NFL game with me this Sunday? And like, no.
No, and it's like if I could go in there and like like try to like pick a dude up, that'd be one thing. But it's like like something too bad she's taken because that's the good one. She buys her man a razor.
So you think if you have the razors, they think that you have like a significant other?
Yeah.
That's
it's
so
It's
interesting.
very antiquated in that.
Because
in the
I've
eye-
always
in the
wondered
shaving
when I
cream
bought
aisle.
feminine products, I love Veet or the Nair, but I usually use the Veet, and I always wonder if they're like, why is he using that? Is he shaving his
They
panty
have
line?
Nair. They have Nair for men though.
Yeah, but I like the women version better. It's a lot smoother and it has like vitamin E inside.
What's the man
So-
version? It's like
It's
just
like a
stubble
rough, like, just
everywhere.
throw it
The
on your
man
body
version-
and it
the
goes
man
away in
Five
2
o'clock
minutes.
shadow.
The
On your
man version, I'm like, oh my
Yes.
god, my back is on fire.
Yeah,
bitch.
you know. But the women's Veet, it's like it smells like lavender. It goes really well. So when I get in line,
I guess that's
people
the
always
flip
look
side.
at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like,
That's
I don't want
what I
to
was
pay $4
gonna
more
say.
for lavender
Man
scent.
is just taint scented.
But
It's
I
like
feel like
why?
our shit
just
is like
switching aisles.
stronger.
Yes.
Like, it's stronger.
It's stronger
shit.
and it'll burn you a lot faster.
Which is
Why?
fine sometimes. Sometimes you need that kind of power. you know?
It's like I got taken.
You guys,
To feel like your back's disintegrating.
Yeah, and anyway, I guess the long and
What
short of
else?
it is just that like I just any other pattern on there, even if it was just stripes,
Yeah.
that would be fine. Just for like a
I
just
guess
for like
that'd
a
be
week.
fine.
switch
Yeah.
it up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, like
Switch
I
up a little
definitely
world.
like
Coats
I'm
are
not
like
only
black.
interested
What do you think
in
about American
flowers.
flag on it? And like, and it can just pop like as soon as you.
Oh,
open it.
so I can be bleeding like a trumper? No, thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with the American flag. I like the
like the
American
implication
flag.
is-
I really I don't
I
want that
want
to
an
be
eagle. I want-
equated.
You know?
Yeah, rock flag. I like our
United
flag.
I'm
We
bleeding
stand.
like a goddamn
Wait,
liberal
Rock
in
Johnson
polka
on
dots.
there.
God damn it.
You know.
Are you saying our flag should have polka dots?
No, but like what's weird
I
because
wouldn't
like
mind
when
the
I'm on the
color.
dating apps, whenever I see a guy that has like a flag emoji in his like profile, I'm like, that's a fucking Trumper.
Yeah.
Like
I hate-
all
I
of
don't-
a
I don't
sudden,
like
like
that. It's
like the flag
universal.
has
Well,
like not
national.
anymore. I feel like now the flag
There's
is
a
like
whole nother-
become like a symbol of like Trumpism and supremacy and like
but that's because he took it
conservatism.
and made it that. Before it wasn't.
I didn't mean that.
I have
Yeah.
a confession.
I agree with
I
that.
made an assumption about someone like that, which is that his ringtone was "Hail to the Chief," and I was like, "Oh my God, look at this fucking Trump supporter on the train." And then he hung up, and everyone went, like, he was with a bunch of his friends, and they all laughed, and they were like, "Does she know that that's what her ringtone is?" And he was like, "She knows." And it was his wife. It was just that he made his wife's ringtone "Hail to the Chief," and
yeah.
But
Oh,
when-
that's cute.
yeah, and I was just like, oh, this fucking guy thinks that Trump's
know
so great. He's made like
So now
dum,
this-
dum, 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 dum.
I'm listening to the audiobook, but like, have you guys checked out Talking to Strangers, Malcolm Gladwell? And
No,
so like
not
that reminds me of like how the whole book is about how like people don't know how to interact with strangers because like we all have these like misconceptions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you know like
Yeah.
if I see like an American flag emoji, I think that they're a Trumper, and if you hear "Hail to the Chief," you think that he's a Trumper when actually he's just being misogynistic and hates his wife.
Right.
But that,
Yes.
I think it's
Yeah.
like cute.
He
in
was
that,
just from
like,
Staten
my
Island in
wife
the normal
says.
way.
Yeah, you know, he's still
Right,
probably
right,
voted for
that's
Trump,
right.
but he's just saying that his wife is a big pain in
Yeah.
his balls.
He's a
you
boss,
know?
you
He's a sitcom
uh,
guy. You break. Oh my!
Yeah,
he comes
but
home, studio
my wife's
audience
a big ball
applauses. Ooh.
buster. Hail to these balls, bitch.
Yeah, but we live in the world like that. Like even me, I'm like, so when I date somebody, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? That we live in a world where that matters the most
Yeah.
than anything. I want.
That's
nothing,
what I.
you know.
I don't like
It's
Because
that.
so-
it used to not be like that. Like
Before
back-
yeah, we never
you could
had
date
to-
a Republican.
Yeah, you
was
could date a
nothing.
Republican.
Democrat,
You could date
but
a
now it's
Democrat.
like-
You dated a
No.
Republican. He's
Tomato.
racist. You know.
Now it's like, what the
You-
fuck?
It's like
You're a
inherently
Nazi.
fucked up to be Republican.
Why are you putting kids in cages, you Nazi fuck?
Yeah,
But do you think?
and that's a Tinder meetup.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's just a big ploy by the government just to
I feel like
Put-
it gives us
kill each
something
other?
to talk
By
about.
the Russian government? Yes,
by
I do.
Yeah, the
or
Russians,
some
yes.
government that to like just pit us against each other to where it is just like these two teams warring?
Yeah, yeah. I
against
mean,
one
this is
another?
You can only be
incredibly
on one
difficult
side
problem
of
to
putting
Yeah.
children in
solve.
cages.
Right, yeah. One
against
would think
it.
that that would be like a kind of an easy one.
And
But-
if you're like, well,
Listen.
it's their
We're
parents'
throwing a
fault. It's
softball
like,
here.
It's a
Children
Fuck
in
you.
cages.
listen. Those
Not in
kids
2019.
need those
Yeah.
cages. Though.
Wait, is she in the cage?
It'll teach them the value of $1. That's what
I
I'll
also
say.
think it gives us something to talk about, though,
Yeah.
because I watch every show and it's nothing but politics.
Yeah.
The View, politics. What is the dish? Politics. So I was like, if we didn't have this, what would they be talking about?
I'm just wondering, was there ever a time before that? I need to go
Yes.
back. To, you know,
I
to
forgot
see if
what it
there
was like before this, right?
Yeah.
You know.
So now, Mercer.
Oh.
Oh. So now, did an elderly lady recently have a baby?
She did. There was, I mean, speaking of Indian woman, your mother. No, but there was.
Oh no.
There was a
He started with a
74-year-old.
yo mama joke. Go on.
There was like yo mom. No, there was a 74-year-old woman in India who gave birth to twins.
Yes.
Wow.
I have
I have a
hope.
sister. I have two sisters.
Well,
Wait, how old are you?
Congratulations.
How old are they?
they both came out 35. That was the weird thing. No, but like I just feel like that this is just I don't know. There's the whole like Jurassic Park, Island of Dr.
This
Moreau.
is some Benjamin Button shit.
No, it's not just Benjamin Button. I just think it's like a slap in the face of God. Like that's what I think. It's just like you can't be the same age. You can't be giving birth at the same age that you can also die of natural causes.
Well,
Like, that's what I'm
74-year-old men can still have children.
Well,
I was
as a
gonna
black
say,
woman
right.
in America,
But it's-
anytime you give birth, you could also die of
Well,
That's true.
she didn't
But
do
of
it.
the medical
I
system being
think-
fucked up.
She
Yeah.
didn't do it naturally though. She was
No,
doing
it's
the
IVF. Yeah, in
IVF.
vitro.
Yeah,
In vitro
yeah, for
fertilization.
sure.
But
Oh,
I
she got inseminated?
I don't know why
Listen,
you'd want to at
listen.
that age.
By-
She probably
could've-
waited until she could afford to have kids.
Yeah,
But
or
get
she
this.
probably
This
was a
rate is
career
fucking-
woman.
twist ending. Here's the twist. Wait, what did she say?
They say you can't have it all.
I said she waited until she could afford to have kids.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm 74. I got this money in the bank
And I
account.
got
finally.
my pension. I can have some babies.
She's moving to Jersey City and getting a washer dryer.
Practically. She was putting it off. She was like, I'm too young.
I got 40 years of interest accruing. Finally, I can.
No, actually, the thing was, I read the article.
Now she has 2 kids.
did
She's
you see the
fucked. She's
baby?
Like, I
Yeah.
only planned for 1
No,
kid.
but she said like her 55-year-old neighbor also had a kid. I don't know what's going on.
Did you see the babies?
Yo,
They look
what's up with the
74
water
too.
in
Oh
India?
yeah, they're all wrinkly
They
like you
looked
said. They look
older
like
when they
Benjamin
came out.
Button.
Yeah,
What
they
a
really
baby
they
that's
came out
wrinkly?
74.
Unheard
They all look
of.
like
For
ball
sure,
sacks.
I
Like
saw
that's
both of
it.
them.
Yeah, that's what all babies look like.
Elephant ball
Listen,
sacks.
I don't care. I was smooth.
Look, the power of in vitro, right?
What a
IVF.
weird brag.
The only thing I can hope
I was
is that
smooth,
she
now I'm
had
all
like
wrinkly.
young sperm, because they're saying
Fuck,
that it's
no,
like
she didn't.
like no, because they're saying that like before they thought it was like the older mother that was like giving all these kids like autism, but like now they're realizing it's like like when the father is over 30, I think every 5 years over 30 is like an extra 10% of
35.
autism. So like
Ugh, I better hurry up.
yeah, so like
Tick tock, tick tock.
yeah, your balls are shaking.
Yeah,
but
damn.
like
I gotta
no,
go
so
home
I
and
need
fuck
to.
my wife.
I need to put. I need to put my balls in cryo. Just specifically my balls.
yeah, but like because before they were just like, oh, like it's an older woman that's making all these kids autistic
In the man
And-
world,
but
yes.
it's actually like the men that are doing it, because what's happening is that like a woman is born with all her eggs, so there's really no deterioration, because like all of her eggs were already there day one. It's the men, as they get older, they're producing more erratic and I guess
Unstable,
like
maybe?
unstable sperm.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I
Because
noticed that when I was jerking off
Unstable?
into the napkin, like you
Un-
can tell, like
right.
it's all like weird.
Unstable. Right.
It's
It was
unstable
moving, It was
sperm.
moving around like it was
Yeah.
drunk and shit.
yeah.
But two kids
It's like
have a
that's-
74.
Yo, that
I-
sperm
no.
looks like
I
I had
it's
it on
got
my
the
hand. I was
Parkinson's
like,
already.
what's
Listen.
going on?
So what percentage? Because the dad was 80.
Oh my god.
So what percentage is that? That's what. But that's what I'm saying.
But,
like,
like, that's
no
why
wonder
I'm
the
hoping
kids
that
came
she
out
had-
looking old as shit.
I'm
That's
not.
why I'm hoping she had young sperm. Like
always look
hopefully
old.
They
it
didn't
wasn't
look. It
sperm.
didn't look like she has a young
it
sperm.
was the man. It was
Yeah,
the 80-year-old
oh.
man.
Yeah, that's
It
not
was an
good.
80-year-old man and a 74-year-old woman.
But 74,
And it had
I didn't even get one, but
twins.
she had 2. What does the body look like after that? A 74
Forget
with
that.
2
What about
kids?
breast- who's
breastfeeding? I mean,
looking
how's
at
that
it?
gonna work?
I mean, here's the
I'm talking about
most.
I mean, there's
childhood.
powdered milk.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
she's breastfeeding, baby.
How does your like you
Like-
you can't raise kids
does-
normal like that?
You know,
I don't
Nestle
think.
Well,
Quick.
It's like
The most fucked up thing about that is only that surely both of their parents will be dead by the time that they're
That's what I'm
25
saying.
at the latest.
Oh God.
Well, at least
That
they'll
would
get
be
a lump
very
sum before
lucky.
they die,
oh,
right?
extremely lucky.
They'll
But
grow
Have
into
you
some
heard of the
lump.
terrible twos? 2 years.
Yeah.
When that motherfucker start
Neither
running
of them are
around,
making it past
you
the toddler.
74,
Two twin,
74-year-old and an 80-year-old trying to catch a 2-year-old.
Well, at least you know
Oh.
what year. At least you
break
know
a
what
hip
year
and you're
they'll die,
done.
right?
right,
guy-
exactly.
the guy's face was just like, I'm so dead after this.
Like-
Like that's the thing I love is like I read the news article, saw the pictures, and like the guy just had the most stoic look on his face, and he was like, I'm so fucking
This
dead.
bitch
Like,
did
This
it.
is putting me in the grave like
Immediately.
Like immediately.
Well, terrible
I'm
twos.
dead.
You know the year they'll die, then, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
That's my prediction.
We- we
The
gotta-
25,
The terrible
I'm thinking
2
terrible
years.
we gotta wrap this up soon, but before we go, Sandeep, what are your thoughts on Yelp and other rating services?
Oh, I don't know what happened with this generation, but at some point, someone thought that regular people rating shit that they have no business rating is a good way to determine the quality of whatever service that it is. And it started with Yelp, with people who just anyone who your whole qualification. We used to have food critics, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who spent their life studying food.
Sure, I'm aware of food critics.
Yes, and no one's aware of them anymore.
don't
They're dead
exist
because
anymore.
now anyone
Because
who can
we're
spell
all food
Yelp,
critics.
Yeah.
yeah, anyone who can spell Yelp can give their opinion as if the regular people. First of all,
Like, what the fuck do you know about bolognese sauce to begin with, bitch?
Yes, exactly. anyone can just weigh in, and Yelp acts like, oh no, we're just trying to like give people freedom of speech.
Democratize
It's the
criticism.
same Facebook shit. It's like, yeah, no, you're letting the trolls run the fucking world. And you don't know, and people, that, perfectly good restaurants, you have like everyone with every personality disorder, every like issue that they have, They
Do they
spout their
have
shit on
multiple
Yelp.
personalities?
They have multiple personalities. All their personalities are fucked up, and they rate and they just fuck up a restaurant.
They have multiple personalities and no palate.
I used to work at an acting school, and whenever the students would make requests, my boss would, well, if they were unreasonable, say we're not going to let the lunatics run the asylum.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the gist. Yeah, it's that feeling of like maybe we don't let the crazy people choose what's good.
No, yeah.
But at the same time, I have rated things on Yelp because the owners of those restaurants have been like, please just rate us on Yelp. Just say that we're not good on Yelp.
Yeah.
Because it does also affect where people go, for better or for worse. I hate playing into the system, but now
I only go
people
on
Google
there
it.
I
if
don't
the
read it.
situation's real shitty.
I don't read it, and
But-
I'm looking
That's
at it.
everyone.
Yeah,
But like I will threaten it first. So it's just like if I like, you know, if I didn't like get something and I'll like reach out to them like, hey, like I ordered this, you canceled it, you said you were gonna give me a refund. I'd really like to settle this before I have to go to social media, and like then I give them an opportunity to fix it before I do it, and then if they don't fix it, that's when I start blasting shit.
I
Well, that's
also
Fair enough.
I will read like the Seamless and the Yelp reviews if I'm ordering from a new place. Let's say it's 11 and all the places I usually order delivery from are closed. I'll read the reviews and I will take into account with a grain of salt all, like if it's not well rated but all of the low ratings are people being like, it took 20 minutes to get my Chinese food and it was slightly wrong and then they sent a replacement 10 minutes later. 1 star. Then I don't listen to that person because that person's an idiot. You know, it's only the only thing I'm looking for is did I get food poisoning here? I'm just scrolling, seeing
There
if
was
anyone
a dead
said
mouse in my lo mein.
yes. It's like
Right, that's a whole other-
I vomited after eating these tacos. There was a dead mouse in my lo mein. Yeah, anything
Yeah.
like that. I'm just scrolling, making sure that no one's like,
But you're still
hey,
at
this
the-
is full of fingernail clipping.
You're still at the
Yeah.
mercy of taking as face value whatever someone writes, who you have no idea who it is.
right, but I don't know who's making. I don't know any of
I
those
could
people.
write today
And
someone
that's
I wrote
exactly-
I got a mouse on in my taco and it'd be totally
Yeah, and I'm
bullshit.
taking on faith
And
that
Yelp-
you won't, just like the Canadian system
Right.
works.
There's no you can't have why
We're
are we
just
having faith?
assuming you're gonna get a.
She's coming from the
elected
Canadian
again.
system, so
I trust people. Okay.
she reads those reviews. She trusts them.
Well, but it's like the whole idea is there's this crowdsourcing.
Did you get a bad review?
Huh?
Is that what happened
Yelp
here?
is totally stupid, and they take
Oh.
they take
That
out
would be
positive
yes.
reviews. And
That'd be a
it's
yes.
but they this whole idea is crowdsourcing, like the crowds, where's the wisdom of the crowd, and you go to get generally the right answer. That's what people believe in. But we have Trump as president because we have. Like, do we
Right,
really
but
think
That
the
wasn't the
crowds
wisdom of the
choose-
crowd. That was the wisdom.
The crowd
of
said
Putin.
otherwise. It was
Yeah.
fucking
It
whatever.
was the
The
it was the
crowd
election,
was right.
and this
It was-
country.
It was Putin and his fucking agents of.
Putin may have
Chaos.
affected
Yeah.
maybe like 1 or 2% of the vote, but the rest of it is the crowd. And even if Trump didn't win,
Well,
Hillary won.
the-
But do we think that of those were the 2 best candidates of all of America to become president?
The popular
The crowds
vote
are
was
idiots.
right.
Pretty
it
much.
was
The most popular restaurant is McDonald's. Is McDonald's
the
the best
crowd
restaurant that
didn't
ever
pick them
ever
as
existed in
candidates
America?
either. A bunch
McDonald's
of
yeah,
wealthy
guys.
people
they
did.
just yeah.
It's pretty fucking.
Just
good.
like a bunch of wealthy people made McDonald's good, really good. It's really good.
Yeah,
So-
that's
Is
the
it?
wisdom of the
I don't
crowd
think
is
it is.
McDonald's. That's the level of
Then
quality
you haven't eaten
of
at
whatever
McDonald's
they
lately.
pick. It's McDonald's. Of McDonald's and politicians.
Good enough. Good enough. I'll still eat at Five Guys.
So now, you guys, we got to wrap this up. But before we go, just tell everyone your social media, what projects you're working on, where they can see you next. I am going to start with Rodney Daniels.
I am Roddy Daniels on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I am going to be hosting Fashionably Funny at the Broadway Comedy Club on September 27th with Marissa Smith. If you're in New
Nice.
York, come check it out. I'm also producing my first show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At Gina Tutorial.
Congrats.
Thank you. And Brooklyn, October 5th with Janice Mercedes. She's going to be the host. It's going to be a fucking great show. Come check it out. Drink specials, and it's free.
First and Morris.
I'll be there.
Drink what? Well, I plugged some stuff in the last show, but all my stuff on social media is at Mercer Morrison, all one word. I am with my co-host Tracy Hassel. We're doing actually our last show, Hass Mercy. And I'll explain why, Sandeep. I will keep it going, but it's going to be September 25th at 7:30, I believe, at the Vaughn. The reason is Tracy, my co-producer, she's actually moving across the country to L.A. I will still
I love LA.
She can't stand me, and so she is moving across. No, but yeah, she is moving there. I will still keep the show going, but it is our last hurrah together as co-producers. It's very bittersweet. So yeah, September 25th. And if you want to know the other show dates for any other projects, definitely just follow me on social media.
Diego Dixon.
Diego Dixon. All right, guys. All the videos for my links are on my page, Diego_Diego with 2Ds_Diego. You can catch my new Jerry Springer episode, People's Court, and Judge Judy. All my episodes will be on there. Still waiting for Dating Naked. We'll see how that goes, but anything that I do will be always uploaded on my page, Diego_Diego with 2Ds_Diego.
Sandeep Sen.
Well, I don't want to follow that. We're on Jerry Springer and fucking
Actual TV credits.
Dating naked.
yes. Sandeep Sen on Facebook at Sandeep Sen Comic, Instagram, and I have a podcast called The Fake Outrage Report, Fake Outrage Rep
Phil.
with Phil Causey, where we decide what to be outraged about and what you should be outraged about, and we tell you how you should feel.
Intrigued.
I like dictation.
Yes, I have shows coming up Monday at Greenwich Village Comedy Club and Tuesday at Gotham Comedy Club. Come check them out.
Cool.
Emily Dixon.
Duncan.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why.
I'm Dixon.
Oh my God.
You're married.
It's too many D's. Too many D's.
Should we
That's
tell
a
her
good
now?
name.
Yeah.
Emily Duncan.
Now that
Emily
I've heard
Duncan.
it,
With a
call me
strong
Emily Dixon.
backbone. I know.
You can find me on Twitter at mdunkaroo, EMDUNCAROO. I'm on Instagram at Emily Slam Duncan. There's a lot of Emily
shit.
Duncans in the world. Very difficult to get
Hey.
consistent usernames. You can catch me at The Revolution tomorrow night at 7:30 at QED in Astoria. And you can listen to my podcast, Witchcast Podcast, on all the places where podcasts are played, if you're interested in witchcraft at all. And you can see me on YouTube in Epicurious Videos, the 4 Levels series.
Marissa Smith.
Ow, I want to be a witch.
Come be a witch.
Follow me on Twitter at Marissa Smith. Follow this show on Twitter at Big Talk and Brew. Check out my other podcast, Blame Storming. You can follow that on Twitter at The Blame Storm. I am going to be at The Revolution tomorrow, 7:30 at QED. I will be at Vineapple on the 15th in Brooklyn. I will be at Bomb Shelter Comedy on the 26th and Fashionably Funny Broadway Comedy Club on the 27th. Catch me here at Big Talk and Brewskis every Friday, 6 to 8. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And remember, you guys, allegedly Trump is threatening the Ukraine to not
God.
give them aid until they help him win the election. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you. Good night.